bringing the sun out to you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I do feel like I'm in control of that, so I'm glad you acknowledge that.
What are your early impressions of the first few OTAs?
We've had we're off to a great start, and I'm really fired up that we've done some adjustments to the way we're doing our work, and the players have really taken to it, and we've found a good way to get a lot of turns, a lot of reps for the young guys, and make progress with our experienced guys as well. So things are going well. You notice we weren't on the field as long as we have been. We've kind of mixed our format some, and it's worked out great.
What's changed? What'd you switch up?
We're doing the majority of our run game in the early part of practice and in a walkthrough mode, and it's helped us a lot.
You mentioned the young guys. This is your first chance for all those rookies to go against veterans. How are you seeing them make that adjustment?
Everything looks good. Very smooth so far. The guys are doing a really good job of teaching, the older guys, and they know, they're acknowledging that the guys are new and they're helping them. You can see them putting their arm around them, talking to them, and bringing them along, just like our guys have done. They're already trying to establish, a connection with the young guys to help them. Our experienced players know that these guys are vital to us, and they're going to be a part of everything that we're doing. And so, the quicker they can bring them along, the more they'll be able to help us. And so, they're competing to get that done.
What's some of your impressions about Luke Jokel's movement in these OTAs, and where is he on the path of getting full health?
Yeah, we're really fired up about the fact that Luke has been able to work every day. He's worked every day of the offseason with us. In the format that we're doing, he's able to be in the huddle a ton. He's practiced a bunch with us, so he's making really good progress. We're still careful with him, but yet he's in good enough shape and able to take care of a lot of work that we didn't think we would get done. Same is going on for Eddie too, and Earl as well. Cam too. The guys who we thought might be more slowed up at this time are really out there able to get enough work that they're feeling some continuity and getting the workload. And also, it's important for us as they get to show and learn from the other guys around them. So it's working out really well.
Tyler in that same group?
He's not quite as far along as those guys. He's a little behind them. He's kind of on the normal path. I think other guys are further ahead of schedule than that.
Is Earl sort of where you thought he'd be, or is this doing?
No, he's working a lot more than what we thought he would do at this time. Today we took it easy just to make sure we finished this week out on the field, but he did the early work and probably the guy that jumped out the most of all guys to me was Earl. His ability when we came in to work on Tuesday, that he was able to get a lot of reps and he was working at a top speed and he was really fired up about it too because he wasn't quite sure himself, how far he could go. So he's making good progress. So there'll be no question about him being ready to go when we get back to camp.
With Luke and Reese, both them playing two spots, how much flexibility does that give you where you're not just, this guy's here, you can play around with it?
This is exactly what it's doing. It's giving us the chance to make the decisions, way down the road, what's best. Luke has played both spots. Reese has worked at both spots too in the past, so we just want to get a lot of flexibility. It helps us when we make our decisions, how we fit guys together when we play, and it's working out great so far. We're getting it done on both sides too. We've got a lot of work at guard here today, so that's exactly what we'd hoped, to gain a lot of information about these guys early on and get them comfortable with being able to be flexible for us.
Pete, what have you seen from Richard Sherman since he got back this spring?
He's worked his tail off. Really, he's been right on it. He's in good shape. He's working hard. He's been right on it. He's helping the young guys like we count on him to do. He's been right in there with everybody. He's done a really good job.
How did his name being involved in the trade talks and stuff affect him from what you've seen with your conversations?
We've worked at this been working at this for years together. This is an ongoing relationship that we've had. I've tried to explain. I don't know if you guys get it, but we're kind of living as a family in this situation. These guys have grown up with us as football players, and in that, we go through a lot of changes, and there's a lot of things that happen. There's a lot of challenges in all directions, not just for one guy, for all of our guys. And in that, I know I'm dedicated. I'm dedicated to making progress as we go, and that doesn't mean everything's always going ahead exactly as you plan. Sometimes there's setbacks and challenges. Matter of fact, if you don't count on that, you don't understand. So we're in great shape. And this locker room's in great shape. This group, they're fired up. They're working hard every day. Everybody's pulling for one another. Whatever you guys think may be otherwise, it isn't. We're in great shape right now, and everything's going in great fashion.
What was your reaction to that? Pete, the article that was written, was it an accurate portrayal of your locker room?
I think it was an old story that was revisited. That I don't even know where all the stuff came from. I would say this. You know, I've said to you guys before that the big wins are just as hard as the big losses if you let it be. And our first Super Bowl was a challenge to get back from. Our second Super Bowl was a challenge to get back from. That's just how it is. It's that impacting. And if you notice, most teams don't make it back. The odds go that you don't make it back to where you've been. And so as we've been challenged with, you know, growing and understanding and moving ahead, I think it's just as normal as it could be. And I'm proud of where we are and how we've handled our past. That article makes reference to stuff that's, you know, it's years old now. And you know, this time of year, you guys want to keep talking about it, you can. It's not a big deal to us at all. It is an issue to us at all.
What about the aspect of the article that said that you maybe showed some favoritism towards wrestling?
I show favoritism to every one of these guys. You know, every one of them. I mean, I'm trying to figure each guy out and help him out as best I can, and I think we're doing okay at doing that. You know, each person is different, and whereas they have to fit into the team, they've got to maintain the team expectations and standards, and I've got to make sure I hold them to all of that. Individually, I treat those guys as much as as well as I can to what they need and what they, you know, how it fits them. So, in terms of Russell, we've raised Russell from you know, a neophyte in this program, and he's done an extraordinary job with us. He's a great competitor and a great worker, and I can say that about Doug, and I can say it about Richard and Bobby and KJ. But they're all different. They're all unique, and they all, you know, I think they all call for they deserve the individual attention that they get. And if I wasn't doing that, I'm not reaching in to help them be the best they can be. And I'm not going to treat everybody the same and overlook their whatever's going on with their individual ways. I'm not doing that. And if you've watched it, you don't think it's working, then too bad. I think it's working pretty darn well. And it's the best way we know how to do it. And we're demanding that these guys find their best. And I'm demanding of myself that I find that in them and help them get there and stay there as long as we can and continue to, you know, be successful and consistent and get along and serve each other and all that. So, you know, in essence, I guess things are a lot differently than maybe you guys think. And I don't know that, but in here and with us and the work that we're doing, I think we're in a marvelous position. That doesn't mean everybody's on the same page exactly right all the time. I'm not either. We got to work at it. It's a challenge, and it's about developing relationships and working with people and helping them to find their best. And that's what we're working at right here. And we ain't doing it right all the time, but we're trying.
Did you address the article with the team at all? Or
No. It's old stuff.
How much was it last season that you had to go through?
Nothing. It wasn't even a question. I don't even know if it ever even came up, you know. But I will say this, and I'm going to get myself I'm putting myself in trouble by saying this. It ain't never going away from me. The first one's never going away from me. It's affected me for the rest of my life, and the next one affect me for the rest of my life. I'm okay with that. I just got to keep going. I got to manage my ways so that I can keep moving forward. I don't say that it affected me in a negative way. It's a big experience. It's a lot you go through. It's a lot that you deal with, and you got to put it in the right place so that the next step you take can be the best step that you're taking, and that's what we're working at doing.
Pete, you guys brought in Colin Kaepernick for a visit. What was that conversation like? What did you want?
It was really another opportunity for us to keep abreast of what's available to help our team, and we've done it in a million ways. John continues to work at every turn to figure out what's available, what we could do, and does it fit and does it not fit. And you know, Colin's been a fantastic football player, and he's going to continue to be. At this time, you know, we didn't do anything with it, but we know where he is and who he is, and we had a chance to understand him much more so. He's a starter in this league, you know, and you know, I can't imagine that we have a starter, you know, but he's a starter in this league, and I can't imagine that somebody won't give him a chance to play.
Well, then, Pete, if he's a starter in this league, why isn't he starting for someone?
That's not my issue. I know we brought him in here to check him out, and we know what we're doing with him, and I think it was very productive for us to get to know him better. I've never really sat down and talked to the guy. You know,
think his stance last year has impacted his ability to get employment?
I don't know that. Let's wait and see. There's some other guys still out too.
Are you past tense with him, or is that door still open?
The doors are always open to opportunities. You know, we're just going to try to do the best we can for our guys whenever the presents itself, and we'll see. But as of right now, we know what we're doing.
One thing you said about that is that he has contract demands that would be prohibitive. Was any of that even discussed with you guys?
There's no point for me to ever even talk about that at all. That's another day, another conversation. Not now.
What'd you learn about him? You said you hadn't had a chance to sit down with him and understand him before. Just what'd you learn about him?
He's a great kid. You know, he's a great kid. He communicates well. He's got a big world that he's living in. You know, he's an NFL quarterback. He's got other issues that he's concerned about. He's he's capable of being a championship guy. He's demonstrated that over years. He's been up and down in his career some, but he's shown enough ups that you know that he can do that. And I thought he presented himself really well.
How do you feel about your backup situation as it is right now?
Well, I feel about it like we did a year ago, and we're still trying to develop it and make sure that we're making the right decisions, and we'll continue to work at it. Trade continues to need to be pushed. Jake is doing that right now, but that doesn't mean that we're done. We're going to continue to look for ways to make it more competitive and put us in the best position to have, if it counts, now you need that second guy in there, he can go in there and do some good stuff. He did an admirable job last year as a rook doing it, and he'll be better. He looks better. He's much more in command of what we're doing. It takes years and years to develop these guys, and he's in year 2, so I expect him to continue to get better. And we know he can play for us. That's what we do know.
What stood out with Russell this spring?
He set his sights on putting together an incredible offseason, and he's done it. And he's worked religiously at his workouts. His conditioning, his arm strength is as good as I've ever seen it. He's as tuned in and focused about doing well and doing everything he can. He's working like crazy out here when he gets his chances. He's leading like he does. I think he's ready to put together a heck of a year. There's no signs at all about his ankle or his knee that bothered him last year. He looks great running around. He's at top speed.
Coach, where are you seeing some of the best competition?
Well, there's a number of spots. That's a good focus right here. I think we have competition on the offensive line that's going to be interesting to watch. How it works out on the left side, how it works out on the right side. We'll see how those guys fare there. The receiver spot, we've got some really exciting guys there that are competing. New guys have already made an impression that they fit in the competitive opportunity. The running back spot is, we're getting to know Eddie as he's working, and fortunately he's been able to work at a good tempo so that we can see him. Getting CJ back to full speed. Remember, CJ was never really full go the whole time. He looks terrific. And Thomas is back to full speed again. He was just barely made it back to us last season. So that spot with Alex and I'm really interested to see Chris Carson when he gets his chance too. So that group's competitive. And I'll go through it. On the other side of the ball, Malik has come on and shown us some really good stuff already. He's going to be able. It looks like he's going to be able to play 5 technique, which is really important to us on early downs, as well as rush inside and nickel. He's already shown an awareness and a look that he can do that. I think that you're going to see Nas compete too. He's got a chance to help us and be that big guy that we've had in the past at the 3 technique spot. The linebacker spot is the most competitive it's been in Michael Wilhoit coming in. He's an experienced player that can play for us. He can play Mike, Will, or Sam. That's a really big boost to us. Terrence Garvin has looked really good at the Sam position. He's got, he was a DB growing up and coming out of college, and he's got good coverage skills that we're looking for in that position, as well as enough size and strength to play on the edge. So, he'll be battling out. He's battling out with Mike Wilhoit right now there. That's a real good competitive spot. On the back end, the young pups that are coming in, really excited to see those guys. Bradley McDougal is a guy that we know can play, so he gives us a guy in the rotation right now that we know he can play both spots, play free and strong safety, and play at a frontline starter level. And so, he's making it hard on the 2 young guys as we get through to camp and all of that. So it's across the board. The competition is really on it. And I think this should be the most competitive camp we've had, depth-wise, and that's just a tribute to what happened in the draft and our guys coming back off the injuries and the guys that we've been able to acquire. So it should be really a hard-nosed, tough camp for us.
What are you seeing Jermaine Ifedi at right tackle so far? What are you seeing?
He looks very comfortable. His footwork is really good there. He looks like he'll have no trouble making that transition mentally. He's so much farther along. I can't even tell you how much farther along George Fant is. If you guys have seen George looks entirely different. He had a tremendous season in the offseason. Working out, he's probably 17 pounds, 15, 17 pounds heavier than he was, and it's all muscle and strength and work that he's put forth. So he's presenting himself the best we've seen him too. Really excited about him too.
Coach, today we saw the 96 on your guys' helmets. What did Tez mean to this organization?
We just got back from the ceremony yesterday in Osceola, and I just could not have been more impressed with the impact that a young guy could have on so many people in so many different walks, from young kids to players his own age, to players that have followed him, but then his coaches in the community, the leaders from his school and his background. It was unbelievable the effect he had. To be the monster on the field that he was, but to be this thoughtful, kind, caring person that he was off the field, and connected with so many people. I mean, we were just blown away by the outpouring at the ceremony yesterday. So we're very fortunate to be a part of it. So what does that mean going forward? That he's had an impact here already. That's an impact that we've recognized, that we want to continue to recognize and celebrate. We won't be able to in the way, the special things that he does for people and all that, but in the spirit of how he worked and what he meant and stood for, I hope we'll live on. He's a fantastic guy.
Anything else? Is anybody ahead of his conditioning goals?
He's right on it. He's doing great. He's right on it. I haven't seen him any other time, so I only know what we're seeing now, but he's right on everything. So he's been a terrific worker. He's done everything we've asked of him, and he's right on it. So.
Are you pacing him for training camp? Will be fine for start of training camp?
We're not pacing him. We're not pacing him for anything. We're just doing what we're doing.
Wrong
word. We're not pacing. No, there'll be no pacing around here.
Sorry, will he full go for training camp?
Yeah, I can't see any reason why he isn't. He looks great right now.
You mentioned waiting. Is Carson back? What's his issue?
He's got a little hamstring that's been bothering him. He tweaked it on I think his pro day or something like that, and we just want to be really careful so it's not a long-standing injury. So, but he should be okay.
Is David Moore a guy who can't be out here because of the quarter kind of thing, or?
No, we just rested. He had a little groin thing that was bothering him. We tested him today. He was getting some MRIs and stuff like that just to make sure everything came out clear and all that. So, but he wasn't able to be on the field today.
Frank Clark wasn't out there?
Frankie's he had the mumps, and he missed all of last week. And it sounds like everybody wants to know what's that. And we remember that's a problem. Well, Frank had the mumps last week, and so he's had a family thing that he's taking care of in the process too. So he'll be back next couple days.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.